I just spent some time talking about square footage requirements. A lot of buyers ask me, you know, Michael, if buying this community or buying that community, what's the square footage requirements? One thing you need to remember, if you're on my site and you find a community that you like, maybe find a house in a community that you like, you can go to that community, click on all the videos and everything I have about that community, and there will be typically covenants and restrictions for that community right there. You can thumb through those and see what they are for that community. But a good rule of thumb I tell my buyers when we first start talking about Lake Kiowee and maybe what building requirements might be as far as square footage go, a good rule of thumb is about 16 to 1800 square foot minimum on the main floor. Most of the communities on the lake do not count the basements as finished square footage. Even though you might finish it for the covenants and restrictions, they typically only count the main floor or the upstairs going above the main floor, typically do not count the basement. So let's just say that you bought a lot in Waterside Crossing where the minimum building square footage is 2,000 square feet. That means on the main floor your footprint has to be at least 2,000 square feet finished heated square footage on that main floor. And obviously if you finished off the basement, you're probably going to be somewhere around 37 to 3,800 square feet unless you completely finish the whole thing. A lot of people do some storage area down there, but so that'll wind up giving you about a 3,800 square foot home. So just remember, a good rule of thumb here on the Lake Kiowee for most of the communities are going to be 16 to 1,800 square feet minimum finished square footage sizes for most of the houses and communities here on the lake. Now there are some older communities on the lake that were here maybe from when the lake was originally first developed and filled in the early 1970s. And typically kind of you've seen some of the older communities that you might have a square footage requirement around 12 to 1,400 square feet. But basically anything moving forward basically in the past 15 to 20 years has pretty much been a good rule of thumb of 16 to 1,800 square foot minimum on the square footage. Now a lot of people also ask me, what's the time frame to build? First of all, if you buy a lot, there's no time frame to build. You could hold that lot for another 20, 30, 40, 50 years, however long that you want to hold it. But a good rule of thumb is in most communities, once you do start building, they want you completed that house typically anywhere from 10 to 12 months from the time that you start the project. And for most builders, unless it's really a huge home that might be 6,000 or 7,000 square feet, most of the time a nice home can get built here on Lake Kiowee with a good reputable builder less than 12 months. Okay, so I just want to give you some information there. It's always good questions that people ask me about that. They always want to know about building requirements and time to build and square footage requirements. So that just gives you some great information to think about moving forward if you're thinking about building.